certificate. You know, I saw one in the mail slots in there. I wonder if they sent it over to the department.
So we're tabling one. We're tabling one. We're tabling one.
6 o'clock, guys.
Right on.
Yes, basically, we're gonna table 11.
6.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Good evening and welcome to the Spalding County Board of Commissioners Extraordinary Session. It is Monday, June 20th, 2022 at approximately 6 p.m. I would request that you please silence all electronic devices so as not to interrupt us. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner Dutton to lead us in the invocation and Commissioner Bolden to lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Everyone will please stand. Join with me in prayer. Our most kind and benevolent Heavenly Father, Father, we humbly come before you tonight as thy servants here on earth to be able to ask a blessing of peace, a blessing of comfort, a blessing of healing. Father, we're thankful for all the things that you have blessed us with in the past, that we're able to live in this amazing country, this great state, and this wonderful community. Father, we're thankful for all those that are in this community that serve or provide opportunities for others to serve. Father, we ask a blessing tonight that we can have thy comforting spirit with us, that it can speak to our hearts, that it can show us the love and support that we know that you have towards us, that our Savior Christ has towards us. Father, our community is hurting right now, and we ask a blessing on this community that it can heal and recover from the wounds inflicted. Father, we ask these things that we can be better every day than we were the day before. Help us to be that example, that shining light that reflects thy love and beauty in this world. Help us to do these things better every day. And we ask these things humbly in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
If you would, please join me in the pledge to our flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include an item to follow after the presentations and proclamations to officially place Juneteenth on our authorized holidays list and to make a resolution to accommodate our employees for losing this holiday today because they had to
second.
work.
All right, I have a motion. I have a second. Any more discussion among the commissioners? All right, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. For those of you that are out here the first time, I'd like to make sure you understand who's up on the platform and how this works. On my left are the 5 commissioners that are elected. On my right is Dr. Steve Ledbetter, who is our county manager, and to his right is our attorney, Ms. Stephanie Wyndham, and to her right is our county clerk, Kathy Gibson. So you understand who's up on the platform and when we speak, what role we're playing. All right. Presentation, you should be able to move and walk through, see all of our stuff. You will see exactly the same thing that is on our screens up here. For transparency's sake, there won't be anything that we have that you won't be able to see. Let me move on to number 4, presentations and proclamations. Consider presentation of a service award to Kathy Leach for 40 years of service to the Spalding County in the State Court Office. Please come forward. As soon as the,
Do you have a proclamation?
Yep, I've got the service award. For 40 years of service, completed May 21, 2022, is hereby presented to Kathy Leach for outstanding performance and lasting contributions to the Spalding County government, awarded this 31st day of May. Thank you so very, very much.
Okay. Thank you. 40 years. Wow.
I'll say a word for
Here's to 40
Kathy.
more.
Kathy does not love the center of the room at all. So I'm Judge Thacker. I'm your state court judge. Kathy Leach is our court reporter. And then Alexander Hope over here with us is our staff attorney. The three of us run the state court. But Kathy was not always with the state court, but she's been with Spalding County for 40 years. For many, many years, she was the court reporter for then Chief Superior Court Judge Ben Miller, who many of you all know from days gone by. And I always describe Kathy in our courtroom and all of our trials together as she is the silent linchpin that holds the whole thing together. So it's, you know, you can replace me and bring somebody else in, but it's always more trouble to find a court reporter than it is a judge. And so if Kathy were out, it'd be it. So I just wanted to say thank you to Kathy. She is a fantastic coworker, a wonderful human being, and deserves all of this. And obviously I wanted to save her from having to do the public speaking and there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Usually when she speaks, nobody can hear her. She goes,
Okay. Congratulations again, Kathy. Thank you so much. All right. Item number 2, the amended agenda. If you would please state your.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I made a mistake because when we passed the Juneteenth proclamation, we didn't go back to check to see whether or not we had actually added it to the holiday list. And I blame myself for it because it is an African-American holiday. Believe it or not, I am African-American, and I really felt like I should have caught that. You can't catch everything, but what we like to do with this is to make amends to our employees who had to work today on a federal holiday, and to also do a resolution to make sure that that holiday falls in with our listed holidays for next year.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any more discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
was that motion sufficient? Like, do we know what the motion was? Okay.
Discussion, question. I think we talked about how we could make amends to our employees. I would like to suggest that we would offer them a floating holiday that they can take for the rest of this year to make up for the holiday that they would have gotten today.
Okay, County Manager, you're in sync with that?
And now the city of Griffin this is the first year that they created it as a holiday as well,
They
right?
have. It's their first year. And I can appreciate Commissioner Flowers-Taylor acknowledging the fact that we being African-Americans, that probably should have called it, but that's why we have staff here. And our job is to actually make the vote to make sure that we get it passed. However, you know, our responsibilities are somewhat limited when it comes to making sure everything is done. So let's make sure that we understand that.
We'll do
So,
better.
Yes, we'll do better.
And it was all of our issues, not just your
Exactly.
two. It was
Very
all
much,
of our
very
issues.
well.
All right,
said.
any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 5, presentation of financial statements. Ms. Garrison?
I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have, but these are May financial statements, so the budget amendment for year end will not be reflected until next month's financial statements.
May I ask a question? Do we have to have, will we be having an audit before we close this budget out? I mean, we hit July 1st.
That's when I start working on closing out the year end, and then the auditors come in usually in September, October.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
Not at this point.
Motion to accept the financial report as presented by Jenna.
Second.
all right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Thank you. Citizen comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting and provide their names, addresses, topics they wish to discuss. Speakers must direct your comments to the board and not to individual commissioners or to the audience. Personal disagreements with individual commissioners or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The chairman has the right to limit your comments in the interest of disposing of the county's business in an efficient and respectful manner. Speakers will be allocated 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topics as they relate to matters pertaining to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during the citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speaker will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend this rule. Now, the county manager will have a timer. When people come up here, he'll start it, and in 3 minutes it will start dinging, and that's the time that you're done. There won't be any go on beyond it. I will be gaveling at that point, so please start thinking, if you need to, about what you're going to say so that you can get it all done in your 3 minutes allocated time. All right, with that,
Mr. Chairman, the first person on the list this evening is Reverend Ken Smith. Mr. Smith, if you will, please approach and state your name and your address.
Ken Smith, 935 Campground Road, Griffin, Georgia.
thank you. Your 3 minutes.
I'm ready then, all right. Well, I think in your prayer, what you prayed for is the reason I'm here, and that's peace in our community. You know, I want that back in our community. I feel the loss of that's taken place. You know, sometimes in life, I think something so grievous and we see something so outrageous take place that even people that normally don't speak up or stand up for what they see have to stand up and speak for what's right and for what's wrong. I'm not debating whether or not Mr. Webb had the right to go on the property or to protect his life, but I'm concerned how he carried out his duties, the judgment that he showed when he was on Isabella Cruz's property, the lack of law enforcement instincts that I saw, the disrespect that I feel like that was shown to the family. And I don't really need an investigation to discover these things. I could see the same video that you have already seen. As a matter of fact, the things that I've seen in that video, I don't think that I'll ever forget the things that I saw. Isabella's trembling voice or shaking hand as she asked Webb, should we call the police? And he responded to her, I am the police. And she questioned him back, you're the police? And he said, absolutely, I'm the police. Blank, emotionless, empty stare, with an arm behind his back and assisted in full body armor. No apologies, no sympathy, no compassion, no remorse. Isabella couldn't go to her pet because in the video it appears that she may have even been next herself if she had went to the aid of her pet. What if this was your wife? What if this was your daughter? What if this was your pet? You know, the answer is it could actually be any one of us. That's the thing that's so disturbing about me, is this could have been any one of us in this room, that could have been our pet or our wife. What if you came home and there was someone standing in front of your wife with your pet laying dead in the yard and was questioning her and she was trembling and shaking in fear? What would you have done? How would you have responded? Mr. Webb's only been here 3 months, and he's dismantled in 3 months' time everything that our sheriff has built. The trust between law enforcement, the integrity, the partnership that we have with each other, in that we're on the same side trying to have a peaceful community. A loose goat was not the enemy here in this situation. The loose goat was not the enemy in this situation. And I think that if he's created this kind of chaos in 3 months, imagine what he could do in 3 years. It reminds me of that movie I watched when I was younger, of Buford Pusser, Walking Tall, the justice that he carried out. He carried a big stick, destroyed everything that was in front of him, and he was judge, jury, and executioner. And that's not what we want in this community. That's not what we had before he came here. It's not what we want now.
Thank you, Pastor.
Ms. Carrie Gebler?
Carrie Gebler, 646 MacArthur Drive, Griffin, Georgia, 30224. I am not here to discuss the marshal shooting the dog. What I am here to do is address credibility. As I wasn't present at the commissioners' meeting on May 16th, when Mr. Webb discussed the AKC Pet Disaster Relief Trailer, I must refer to the documented after agenda and minutes of that meeting. I need to clarify the many things he is grossly underinformed on, misinformed on, or just made up. The example of a disaster he gave was, and I quote, "An example of a disaster could be where you come upon a place where there is an immediate threat to animals on the property, and this trailer can be utilized to transport those animals to a safe environment." Wrong. Has even looked at the trailer. Not only is the trailer not equipped for transportation of animals, it is a closed cargo trailer with no ventilation. You'd have a bunch of dead animals at the end of the trip. The county has a nice new van, which was purchased for and is specifically equipped to transport animals. That isn't what the trailer's for. It's to provide housing for animals with their owners in the event of an emergency, like Hurricane Katrina, when many people stayed behind with their animals despite evacuation warnings. And endangered first responders who had to risk their own lives to rescue people and their animals from rooftops and other things. That's an emergency, not a hoarding situation. Your marshal shouldn't even have allowed to happen in the first place. This was discussed multiple times by agents of the county who took the time to come to meetings where before we donated the trailer. If the marshal had taken time to watch the video provided on the AKC Reunite website, he would have known that. Besides Eric Mosley, no one on this commissioner's board, not even our former liaison, Ms. Taylor, ever came to a meeting to discuss any of this with our kennel club, or to even say thank you. Education and information are important things. Per the AKC, the trailer was supposed to be housed and inventoried under Spalding EMA. I'm not sure how it ended up in the animal control inventory. I'm concerned that our marshal not only isn't informed enough about it to know what it's for or how to use it, but that all things considered, the asset of this trailer will be scuttled or squandered for hoarding situations he considers emergencies. He said, staff is being trained on how to handle animals should a disaster occur per the agreement with the Kennel Club. We clarified at the time and are committed and capable of following through on manning the trailer 24/7 should a disaster occur. Our members are fully trained in how to handle animals, as most are professional handlers with decades of experience. They're well-versed in animal husbandry, triage, temperament assessment, breed recognition, and safe handling procedures. I fail to understand why you would request spontaneous, untrained volunteers, we call them SUVs in search world, to handle animals that are going to be stressed in an emergency like a hurricane or tornado. The last thing you need are spontaneous volunteers. And I don't believe that it's a good idea for someone who shoots dogs as a first option to be training volunteers on how to handle animals in an emergency. When someone lies about the small things, one can be reasonably assured they'll lie about the big things.
Thank you.
Ms. Vicki Hennessy.
Welcome back, Ms. Hennessy.
Hey, guys. Vicki Hennessy, 208 Seminary Ridge, Griffin, Georgia. Just got back from the dentist, so ignore me. I had no speech prepared like I normally do for 3 minutes of getting it all together. All I'm going to do is say, and I know it's not going to be very important, but what's the word? As I was people were trying to intimidate me not to talk. People were trying to talk to me. What if it was your child? Blah. Let me tell you something. I'm here because I work in the shelter every day. I don't get a dime. I'm just a volunteer. I've done that. I've lived in this county for 19 years. I've worked in the shelter for almost 12 years. I've worked with Brent, I've worked with Amanda, I've worked with Taylor, and I've worked with Smart. I know what was allowed, I know where we've at and where we've been. I can only speak from personal experience. My personal experience is that the animal shelter is well taken care of. Again, I can't talk about anything else. I can only talk about what I'm talking about here and what I see on a daily basis. Animals are being taken care of. We do everything we can to get to rescue and into foster homes. We have volunteer programs that have been started. You can come at the animal shelter unannounced anytime you'd like to. You can walk the dogs, play with the cats. You can go up to Pet Sense. There are so many volunteer opportunities for you. So no one's hiding anything. There was a little time, like we talked about at the last meeting, that a couple of days there, that there was no prisoners that were helping. And that was in the past. It doesn't happen like that. I come unannounced all the time. And I see someone that cares about the animals that has sit and talked with me personally about getting a grant for $25,000 for this, to do spay and neuter. So I've seen that caring person. Does that make sense? And so I'm, again, not saying anything about the situation. I've been kind of out for the last 2 weeks with my own personal situations and moving. And, you know, here's the part. The truth always prevails, okay? Trust me. So let's wait and see what it says and where we're at. And again, I'm not in that situation. I can only speak by what I see when I go to the animal shelter. And I do see someone that cares for the animals instead of wanting to put them down and wanting to euthanize them. So I just want y'all to know that, okay? And you should also know that if I do see something wrong, I'm the first one that'll come to, every one of y'all got your phone numbers and I'll be calling you, okay? So just note that, okay? And I know it's not a popular opinion, but you know what? It's my truth, and it's what I see. And I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hennessy.
Thank you.
Ms. Christine Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, please state your name and your address for the record.
Okay, I'm Christine Thomas, 400 North Roval Road, Williamson, Georgia. Hello, hello. It's been a while since I've been here, y'all. Okay, I'm not talking about the web thing. I'm talking about the county ordinance of whether or not the school zone cameras. I think that the under OCGA 4060-183, you guys are the governing authority to change the speed limits for the OCGA stated, and you guys have the leeway to change the speed limits as you seem fit with the traffic solutions or traffic studies and whatever. And my concern with the speed zone cameras is OCGA 4014-18 for variability with Sheriff Dix states that it's all day. And one of the time frames he uses is 6:40 to 4 p.m. at the Griffin High School, for example. But that is counter to Spalding ordinance or Spalding code 71001.5, 71002, 71003. And I'm just wondering, I've emailed you this, and I'm just wondering what takes precedence. And I know that you guys are the governing authority, and you both are in the city commissioners. You make the call and you adopt the programs for off-system and on-systems speed limits. If I'm wrong, please email me and let me know so I can research it. But people are getting tickets, and there's a to and a from signs. 7, like for example, that says speed limit school zone 7 to 8:30, and then 2:30 to 4:30. Now, under the OCGA 4014-18, it says 1 hour before school session begins, in session, and 1 hour after it ends. So I have been on the personal discussion with Sheriff Dix and Mayor Holberg online, and both of them stated the signs are reflective of the school zones and when the recording is taking place. Well, if that's the case, then the OCGA 401418 does not take precedence, because the codes 71003 is only from 7, I believe, to, has the to and from. It doesn't have all day in there while school is in session through the year and not summer, for example. And I would just like to know, let's see. Are you, people are saying $75 and stuff, and it just, what I'm saying is we're taxed to death already. You guys got millage rate increase, you got property tax increases, you guys are voting on the budget soon, if it's not today or tomorrow or whatever. But how much is it gonna be? The only reason why this was adopted was because the Board of Education allowed the permit, and I'm just wondering, what are you gonna do about it for the people? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Brandy Baird. Sorry, please forgive me.
Brandy Byard, 135 Bethany Road. Y'all, I'm gonna keep it simple because y'all already know where I stand. I'm actually, I hate for Miss Isabella what happened to her dog, but I'm glad that there's so many people here to actually speak out against what awful situation happened. But I wanted to take the time to tell y'all, this is what, like, you're voted in for us as the constituents, but you hire people with backgrounds of so much awfulness, but we're having to pay for them for our taxes and everything. And not even caring about the fact of what we have to go through as who they want to enforce these laws or whatnot on. That's it.
Thank you.
Brian Moxley Aldridge.
Brian Moxley Aldridge, 2221 Macon Road, Griffin, Georgia.
Thank you.
I'm a 52-year resident of Griffin and Spalding County. For the first time in my life, I am afraid of one of Spalding County's employees. Let me start with this. Every person on this earth has made mistakes. I certainly have, and I've paid for them. We all should be held accountable for mistakes we make, especially those that affect others. The mistakes made by Marshall Smart Webb on behalf of the citizens of Spalding County last week at the Galarza home need to be addressed and rectified. His superior found it appropriate to hire someone under GBI investigation for his actions in our neighboring county. This Spalding County employee, in my opinion, is a danger and a nuisance to our community. Is this all Spalding County has to offer its residents? Is this the best we can do? Is the pool of applicants so sorry that this is what we have to settle for? I think not. Please don't let the good old boys get away with this. Something stinks, and we all smell it.
Thank you, Ms. Aldridge.
Mike Laster.
Name and address, please, sir.
Hello, Mike Laster, 1415 Vineyard Road, Griffin. I'd also like to change the subject a little bit, and I would start out by saying I don't envy you commissioners at all. And the topic I'm bringing up, most of you inherited, you didn't push for the splash fund that we just finished. But the county was sold a aquatic center. Right on the county website today, it shows pictures of it. It's beautiful. It's a big pool with a retractable roof We got 2 water slides. We got a splash area for kids. We were told that this was going to be a water park that families would be able to take the kids, cool off, and enjoy the summer. It's going to have a rental area, 2 indoor and 2 outdoor for people to rent for parties, different things they want to rent. It's really neat. But you know, this is a far cry from the pool that I understand we're fixing to build. Our previous county manager explained to us that the pool would be cold and normal people wouldn't want to swim in it. It's a competition pool. It's for a limited few people in Spalding County, not for the masses to go and families to enjoy, which was what we told we were going to get. But this is not it. A lot of people really get upset when we, splash projects come up. And when this one came up about 6 years or so ago, one of the projects that I brought up in the past is, most of you don't even remember it, but Hawks Library used to be our city library. And we was told that the building was structurally unsound, must be torn down, and could not be used as a library anymore. So we built a new state-of-the-art library down the road, and it's nice. It's a nice facility. Then they went in and remodeled the Hawks building, and it's a nice office facility today and still being used. I realize money's limited, and even now we're looking at $10 million for the swimming pool we're looking at. But the people of Spalding County voted for an area where we could take our families and enjoy a good day to cool off. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Keegan Prescott.
Name and address, please, sir.
Keegan Prescott, 808 Carver Road. I'm here today to advocate for this young man. He can't speak, but I can. Mr. Davis, Mr. Dutton, Ms. Flowers-Taylor, Mr. Bolden, Ms. Johnson, I'm very disappointed in every one of y'all. Y'all hired an individual to come into our county as a county manager who is under a GBI investigation, along with his partner from the city of Woodbury, Mr. Smart Webb. As a citizen of this county, every one of y'all let our citizens down. Yep. This young man cannot speak. I can. I'm going to read you a text message from the city of Woodbury Mayor, Miss Moody, that I received today at 16:55. Hello, how are you? This is Mayor Tanya Moody of the city of Woodbury, Georgia. As mentioned in our conversation, there's an open investigation from the GBI on Smart Webb, Steve Ledbetter, and other individuals who are either previously employed or were city officials in the city of Woodbury. More information will be available soon. Thanks, Mayor Moody, June 20th, 2022. Y'all hired. He's got a track record. Yeah. Look him up. Look up Smart Webb. Y'all allow him to go mess with animals. He is a dog fighter. I'll tell you this, and I'm going to end it on this. Mr. Ledbetter, Mr. Webb, and Chief Mike Yates give this county a bad name. They are all corrupt individuals. Do your jobs. Fire them immediately. Immediately. Do what's right for this young man. Suspend Smart Webb as of tonight, no pay until this investigation is over. Or I'll make sure every one of y'all get voted out.
Rebecca Skelton.
My name is Rebecca Skelton, and I have a non-disclosure on my property. I just wanted to say that I've been volunteering at the animal shelter since they've been open on...
I need your address, I'm sorry.
I have a non-disclosure on my
Okay.
property.
Okay, I understand you.
So I've been volunteering at the animal shelter since they've been open on Saturdays. I wasn't able to volunteer under the previous administration, so I was really excited to be able to get that opportunity to work with the animals, because animals are my heart. And I personally have seen nothing but good, positive changes at the shelter, specifically from Smart Webb. His ideas, the things that he implements with the animals, he has been nothing but kind and compassionate. And the people that are, making comments, they're not there. They're not there with the animals. They're not there to see what's happening or what isn't happening. And I have seen a wonderful, positive change. I am very sorry for what happened, but as far as, the animals, they're in great hands. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Ms. Skelton.
There are no more, there's no one else that's signed up for speaking this evening.
Thank you.
No.
We have Isabella with us, the victim, and I think she needs our prayers, and she needs our concern. It's our privilege to have her here. This has happened wrong, but you guys can right it.
Item number 7, minutes. Consider approval of the minutes of the Spalding County Board of Commissioners regular meeting on June 6, 2022, and the Spalding County Board of Commissioners work session on June 9, 2022.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve both meetings per the listing on item number 1.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second? All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Motion passes. Consent agenda, item number 8. Consider on a resolution on second and final reading amending the Spalding County Board of Ordinances Division I, Law of Local Application, Part 2, Governing Administration, Chapter 2, Elections, Section 2.1, Board Established District, to add a Section P, Appointment for vacancy. Does the board wish to vote on the consent agenda as presented, or is there a need for discussion?
I would like to make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman. I have a question, if there's a second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
So
Ms.
Stephanie, the things that we needed to change otherwise, when will we be getting that back? Those dates and the other references to the years? I know this was the initial part that we needed to add in. You don't have an idea, do you? Okay. But we want that on our list of things that needs to get changed.
And it definitely is on the list. Well, we have to, after the election, after the runoff, then we can get the redistricting information from
Okay.
the election supervisor, because those are way out of date.
Will there be a chance that this will be ready by the November election?
I would expect
I mean,
so.
our part? Okay, all right, that's all I have.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Item number 9, old business. Lift from the table and consider requests for amplification for the Shield of Faith Christian Center located at 916 Harlow Avenue to host a block party on July 3, 2022 from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Motion to lift.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Dr. Ledbetter?
Is it inside the counties?
It is inside the county. I spoke with both the city manager and Kathy spoke with Mr. Clark about the property specifically. They're going to keep the amplification on the church property, which is located in the county. So
Okay.
it is the staff's recommendation for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
This is a Sunday, so it's fine.
It's like 3.
All right. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Item number 10, new business. Consider on first reading adoption of the fiscal year 2023 budget ordinance. Dr. Ledbetter.
We'll be more than happy to read through the 11-page document if you would like, but our budget is sitting here on the counter for us.
You're waiting to read every page.
I will not read every page, but I can just tell you that the general fund total revenue is $62,575,795 with a balanced budget for expenditures. And then we can continue through if you would like, or we can make this available online for our residents to
Make it available.
make sure that they have plenty of access between now and Thursday night for adoption.
Make it available? All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
We appreciate staff's hard work on this, Steve.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Thank you, Jenna. Wherever you are.
You can see the level of detail that we require to be able to do the budget. All right, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Thank you. This is the first reading. We will have a second reading on Thursday before the budget passes. Item number 2, consider approval of the fiscal year 23 CSBG program proposal from the Three Rivers Regional Commission. Dr. Ledbetter, would you explain?
I will be more than happy to, but I'd like to introduce Ms. Jeannie Brantley from Three Rivers Regional Commission this evening. She's available for presentation and questions.
Thank you.
Jeannie, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah. Just a month ago, I'm asking for some more money, so. Get to my page. I am Jeannie Brantley, the Planning Director for Three Rivers Regional Commission, and I presented to you the proposed FY23 budget for CSBG. CSBG is the Community Services Block Grant that Spalding County has provided for a number of years. The program provides services to low and moderate income individuals in Spalding County. What we're proposing for FY23 is pretty much what we've done for FY22 as well. We'll provide a tutorial program with the Salvation Army. The budget for that is $32,000. We hope to serve about 50 students. We'll also provide a nutrition program, home-delivered meals through the senior center. We generally assist about 25 elderly residents in Spalding County with home-delivered meals. It's about 250 meals, I believe, a year, unless there's some type of emergency. Then they get some additional meals with that. There's also the youth nutrition program that we're bringing back this coming year, and it's a federal physical year, so it's October through September. The youth nutrition program, which provides backpack meals for underprivileged youth, and we do that through the Spalding Collaborative. We'll provide some funding for the Opportunity Community, the Educational Prosperity Program, again with the Spalding Collaborative. And then agency capacity building. So those are some things that we have to do to provide the CSBG program. So it's the software and the maintenance of that software that we have to use for client eligibility and data management, case management. There's also grant administrative services. We do charge 15% for grant administrative services, and that amount is $25,247. Spalding County will receive $168,314 in the program this year. I'm asking for you to approve the grant application so we can submit. It also includes a resolution that I would need to have approved.
I have a motion to approve?
questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All right. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Brantley.
Thank you.
Good to see
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jeannie.
Jeannie. Item number 3, consider approval of the FY '23 5307 and 5311 transit agreement to continue Spalding County Transit Services for fiscal year 2023. Dr. Ledbetter, please explain.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Tommy Kennedy with Three Rivers Regional Commission this evening. He's here to make presentation and answer any questions.
Welcome, Tommy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. We appreciate it very much. And I am the Transit Program Director for Three Rivers Regional Commission. We provide transit services within Spalding County, and you've probably seen the buses. There are two primary riders that we typically have: senior adults and people with disabilities. So we take people with disabilities to and from centers. We have wheelchair-enabled buses. We also take a lot of seniors to the senior center, and then we have people who will go to medical appointments and other things like that. And so we provide a service to the community, and Spalding is a very important key part of that, so we're happy to partner with you. Every year we have a contract with you. We have been using what's called 5311 Rural Transit Program funds. We received a letter probably about 5 years ago stating that we need to begin a transition to using 5307 funds. In addition, it's a combination. It's because of, and I don't even like the word urbanized, it just means you got more dense population. And so you really have to begin to transition to using some of those funds. And so the contract that we have with you, it's the same wording as last year's. There's a little bit of adjustment just to add references to 5307. The money is allocated from the Federal Transit Authority down to ATL, and then it's subdivided in all the different counties. So you have an allocation, and you can keep that for about 5 years. If you don't spend it, then it gets reallocated back into the metro Atlanta and the surrounding counties. And so you have some funds that have already been built up into that. So we would take a portion of what we actually already do and then fund it through this program, the 5307, and the rest through 5311. And so it's the same system, same buses. It's the same way to where everyone calls in and schedules their rides. The service for DHS, which is for the senior adults, for the senior centers, or for the disability centers, they do everything the same. There is a little bit higher matching funds, and the city has already passed their portion of it. It's just the same amount as what's in your contract. And they've actually signed it. So, my boss said, make sure you tell them that. But certainly it's something to where we want to continue to offer this service. We do offer service within the 5-county area, and Griffin and Spalding County is kind of the hub for that. So you got Butts, Pike, Lamar, Upson, and Spalding. So you can get picked up and dropped off. So we even have buses that will come from, say, Lamar or Pike or one of these other counties, bring someone in for a medical appointment, and while they're here, they may pick up 1 or 2 people and take them where they need to go, then go pick that person back up and take them back home. So we actually have more than just the Spalding buses that are doing Spalding trips. And so by approving this contract, we estimate that the transit program will be about $591,000 worth of service for the community. Your portion is $35,000. So we're leveraging a huge amount of other funds from grants and things like that. And so it is a little bit shift just because it's different type of funding, but we're working closely with all of the counties that are affected by this. Carroll County is also has approved this as well because they don't have as high a density as you do, but they're also working through this same transition. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
I remember the lady that actually did the presentation for this, I think about 6 months ago. Remember that? She actually kind of explained the 5307. You're saying it's the same buses, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But does it mean that they're going to expand out to different areas since it is considered, that area is considered rural, urban? Does it mean that the proximity is going to shift, meaning that there's going to be a lot more of a, location for them to actually travel throughout the city of
So
Griffin and
we,
Spalding?
and that's a great question. So the service area is the same, and we cover all of Spalding County and these other counties that I mentioned as well. And so the service area is the same. It's just that when we do service within the more densely urbanized area, we have to calculate a portion of that and use a different type of funds. So the actual service works the same. So we have to get money from two different pots of money instead of just one.
So if you're riding from Orchard Hill, it's 5311 money. If you're riding from the city of Griffin, it's 5307.
Right, right.
And
So if you
so-
picked
so
up
go-
in the city of Griffin and dropped off in the city of Griffin, then that would be a 5307 ride. But if you're way out in the rural area, picked up and brought into the city, that still qualifies as a rural
I know you
trip.
don't know this, but how many buses do we have?
We've operated 7 buses. Usually we operate about 6, but we're replacing some of the buses. You've actually gotten some new ones this year and some others that are waiting because of COVID delays. But
Does that do the trick?
yes,
It does.
we have 24 buses in our total fleet across 7 counties, but Spalding's one of the biggest.
Okay, just curious.
So one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, I know in the past we've been dinged when we picked up people in the city, but now we'll just pay for that, the difference in that out of 5307, instead of trying to charge it to 5311.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
all right.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy Washington.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate
Chairman.
what you're doing for us.
We appreciate your work. Thank you.
Item number 4, review the annual report for Spalding County issued by the Child Protocol Committee. Dr. Ledbetter?
So the report in front of you is from Judge Rita Kavanaugh. She is required by law to provide this update to you on an annual basis. And as you can see in the report, it indicates that all investigations have been completed for the child abuse protocol for Spalding County without findings. So the staff is recommending acceptance of the letter.
Motion to approve.
All right, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Who did the investigation? Who?
Judge Rita actually does the investigation, and she's the one that presented it. They met inside of this room with representatives from across the county and across the region and across the state. They had state DFACs and other state agencies who participated. They reviewed for, goodness, all day long, I think was the length of time that they spent in here going through all of the cases that were under consideration.
So I'm asking this because I totally didn't know what this was. I've been here all these years and I've never seen this. And when I'm not saying that it's bad, I guess what I need to find out later is, I mean, are we going and picking cases from DFACs in Spalding? Is this just for this circuit?
I think they're criminal cases.
It's the criminal cases, but it's just for Spalding is what they
Criminal
reviewed.
cases for minors?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. That's all, that's what I
All right,
wanted to
any
know.
more discussion? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Oh, I'm
We
sorry.
do have,
I'm sorry. All right, any more discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. 5-0. Please thank Judge Kavanaugh for her work.
Longest serving judge in Georgia history.
is it? Wow. Is she?
Yes.
She helped write Georgia's constitution.
Item number 5, consider review for the proposal from Nova to provide building department services, plan review, and code inspections for Spalding County. Dr. Ledbetter, would you please explain?
This evening, we have Mr. Bill Duck joining us for this discussion. And just as an aside, we have been using Charles Abbott and Associates for a number of years. Staff went and did a thorough review of all the services and then asked for quotes from the other vendors across Georgia for these services. What we learned was that by making the transition over to Nova for Mr. Duck's company, we would be saving approximately $116,000 a year. So staff's recommendation is that we proceed with the translation from Charles Abbott to Nova Services over the next month.
If you got comments you'd like to make, Ms. Duck?
Well, I'm William Duck with Nova Engineering and Environmental, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide you with a proposal. You know, there's two main things that we believe in, and number one is taking care of our customers, which is the city as well as the citizens and builders of the city. Number two, we do that in a way because we provide professional, trained, and certified inspectors. And with that in place, then we can provide you a great service for your city. And I'll be glad to answer any questions. You know, we've got a process that in the transition period, you know, we would come in and during this time, do information investigation, looking at the files and looking at where we are, and then put together a plan that we would give to the city manager of things that probably need adjusting a little bit, and then implement that plan. But again, we're excited about the opportunity to provide you that service, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, yes, I do have questions.
Okay?
So you know that we've had, for the past 2.5 years, we hired another agency. I want to know what it is that you guys did when you had personnel shortages over the past 2 years during COVID.
We have struggled like everybody else, but we have been very fortunate. We have a number of jurisdictions that we have under contract currently, and we have been very fortunate in being able to hire good qualified people. One of the big things that we have done is worked on getting young people into the trade, because that's one of the places that jurisdictions struggle a lot. So we have brought young people in that have an interest but don't have certifications, but have been involved with construction, so they have some background knowledge. And what we have done is taken those guys and put them in the field with experienced people and trained them and assisted them in getting their certifications. So that's been a real big benefit for us. And don't get me wrong, occasionally we struggle for inspectors, but we have been very fortunate to be able to go out and find. I mean, we hire from a wide range, and I know a lot of people don't. We had one the other day from Chicago that we hired that brought in, and he already had some certifications, a young guy, and he's just turned out to really be a great inspector for us.
So, another question. How many people will be on the ground here?
Right now, we have scheduled 2. We have a building official, which will supervise the operation as well as plans review and assist with inspections. And then we would have 1 inspector. Now, we had talked about an additional inspector, and once we see if the workload demands it, we will have him here. We have about 30 inspectors in this area work in various cities, or we do a lot of third-party inspections for contractors during all this COVID, and the city of Atlanta was shut down. And so we have some third-party inspectors that we can use to fill in during vacation time, whenever somebody's out, sick, those kind of things. Or if the volume of work demands it, then we have people that we can plug in to cover those times. A lot of times like that, it'll be short spurts. You'll have a real busy, and we can plug somebody in to help those 2 guys. And if it's a continuous thing, then the workload will be there to support bringing a 3rd person on.
But the person that you have that will be here on the ground is a certified inspector, building inspector. I mean, what are their qualifications gonna be
Our
in terms of what we-
building official that we have proposed is certified, I think, in 25 different categories through the International Code Council. So he is certified in all the residential, all the commercial fields, and in some of the additional categories that they provide. The inspector that we're talking about, I think he has 7 or 8 certifications. He's got all of his residential, he has some commercial, and he's currently working on getting additional commercial certifications.
So, one more question, and I'm gonna leave it alone. This is to him, to you. So, we talked the other day about making sure that at some level in the construction of buildings, whether residential or commercial, that there are eyes from the inspector before the walls get closed.
Oh, absolutely.
So, are we, because that's been missing apparently, so that's another big concern of
Well,
how often you would be and where are the benchmarks when a person hits as they construct a building, so that we can know that, you know, the wiring is good, the insulation is
Well,
good, the water is good.
You know, that's kind of twofold. The person that's doing the building or the builder has a responsibility to call and let us know, but we have a responsibility to follow up on those that don't call. We go out and check and say, you know, where are you in your construction? And make sure that it's not progressing without inspections. But there are multiple inspections that are standard inspections that we do. Basically what we call MEP, which is your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. This is after you get it out of the ground, where you look at all this stuff before the walls are closed up. You look at the ceiling before the ceiling's closed up. Same thing with your footings and everything else. But there's a process, and if you don't follow that process, you don't perform a good inspection.
Okay, that's all I had.
Anybody else? I got some questions.
Okay, sure.
How long is the contract for?
We're asking for it to be 1 year.
Okay.
And that affords us the opportunity to do an assessment against NOAA as well.
So I have big concerns with this, not specifically directed at you,
Okay.
but I would have these concerns for anybody that stands right there and tries to do this job. We've had places built in Spalding County, one of our commissioners lives in them, that passed inspection, that shouldn't have passed inspection.